Hey guys, how are we doing? Let me just turn that down so you don't hear double. Yes, DJ Soap again, back. I don't know if you guys have just been watching the live stream on the main channel, but if you have and you've moved your way over here, thank you very much. Yes, we are going to be talking about the Intellivision Amico. Let me type it in here and you guys can check out the website as well. In case you don't know, the Intellivision Amico is an upcoming games console. And it's quite expensive and it's insanely niche. I've got a few people in the chat with me as well to discuss this, whether they think it's a good idea, whether they don't. I think it's going to be quite an interesting discussion. I think there's going to be a little bit of rivalry between this, which is good, which is very, very good. So let's introduce all of the people we have in this chat, starting with Grizzly.
Hello, me again.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen any of the chats, I've been on all of them so far, and I'm going for that, so
Absolutely,
nice to be here again.
Yeah, we got Grizzly right there. We got Kim Justice here. Say hello, Kim.
Hello, I am Kim Justice. You may remember me from things such as the stream that Dan did an hour ago.
Yep.
I am here as an impartial observer. I know very little about the Intellivision Amico, so these guys will tell me about it, and I will make my opinions based on that, because I'm sure you all care. So yeah, that's me pretty much.
There you go. There you go. Excellent. Next up, we have Mark D, one of my YouTube members. One of my YouTube members there, Mark D. Say hello.
Heyo.
Hey,
I'm just here to discuss. I actually haven't heard of this before, so it'll be interesting to hear about it.
There you go. There you go. Oh, look, I can pre-order now, apparently. And finally, we have, in the last, right there, we got the Mog Miner, the guy with the world's greatest voice. Introduce yourself, Mog Miner.
Greetings from socially isolated Sweden.
Excellent. Right, so the Intellivision Amico. I'm on their website right now, as you can see. Let me just share it with you guys so you'll be able to see it live, because I haven't got the low latency on, so it'll be a bit of a wait otherwise. Let's do that and that. And you guys will be able to watch it live. Okay, so this is the Intellivision Amico. This is a console that their little tagline is literally together again. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure Grizzly and Mogminer and stuff will correct me if I'm wrong, but they're trying to go down the Nintendo Wii route. This is a console that's going to be for everybody. Am I right there, guys?
Not at all. Specifically because of the fact that they're literally not going to publish anything that gets rated higher than PEGI 7 or E10 plus.
Sure. Okay, I've worded that wrong. This is for the family. This is a family console. This is
Absolutely.
the idea. So let's just see how much this is to pre-order. It's $100 deposit. Okay, you get a $25 gift card. So this is a completely no physical media for this whatsoever. This is going to be download only, Ouya, all that sort of thing come to mind. And the total price is $249, or the vintage wood grain is $279.
I'm sorry, 249 or 279.
So it's $249 for the graphite black, or the vintage wood grain one is $279.
And
I thought we were talking about something that was effectively going to be an Ouya, but like $75, and at that point I was pretty convinced it was going to fail. But at $200 price point, what the heck? Sorry, $300 price point.
Here's the thing, right?
That is
I understand. I understand where you're coming from with that, and it's not really the $79.99 Ouya. It's a $250 Ouya. Really. But the thing is that they've already had a pre-order run for that vintage wood grain, or like a classic edition, and it's sold out.
But I don't think that means anything. The Wii U sold out. You couldn't get a Wii U on launch for love nor money. You know what I mean? Like, so many consoles sell out.
How many was in that one?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? You know.
Good way to drum up
because
business.
you're gonna get your hardcore folks who are gonna order it anyway, no matter how much it is, just because they want it and no one else is gonna have it and they want it first.
Yeah. So my philosophy when buying a console is the fact that I always want to make sure I get a console that has exclusive games that I want to play. If I get to an end of a life and there was less than say 5 exclusive games that I want to play on it, then it was a failure. It was in my eyes. As a historic gaming, I should probably call my channel something like that, shouldn't I? The gaming historian, maybe that would have been good. As someone that's really into the
Yeah.
as someone that's really into the history of gaming, this console, I'm definitely going to buy it. 100%, I'm going to buy it. But at $279. I'm still, I'm not the average consumer. I think that's fair to say, and I think they're trying to aim it at the average consumer. I've just opened up a new window, and I'm going to show you, Kim. It's not pulling,
It does not look like something to me that's worth $280. No way. It looks too. This sounds boorish. It looks too small.
Right.
It's too small, and it's got these little controllers that are like Nokia mobile phones from 2007.
So the idea of the controllers, if I'm not mistaken, is you can hold them either way, like sideways. So you can hold it like an Amico controller would. You got it like essentially like a phone, with that sort of iPad sort of twisty thing at the bottom. But then also you can put it on its side and use it so that the screen, which is in regards to exclusivity, it's getting an exclusive Earthworm Jim game with the original team back again, which is one of the best things that Tommy Tallarico could have done for this, I think.
Oh yeah, that's definitely pull up.
Majorly. What I wanted to show you, and I don't think it's actually showing up, and because I'm using an incognito window, it's not letting me. Oh, here we go. So this is a demonstration on some of the games. Now, when I saw this trailer, because I've always been about the Amico, like, yeah, I'm definitely getting one. But when I finally saw this trailer, I was like, these games look like the games my son shows me on his tablet.
I'm probably going to be lagging a bit behind because I can't get on the Discord stream, but
Okay.
Yeah, the Discord stream's not working for me, so I'll be able to see it in whatever the wait time is on this.
Sure. Yeah, let me do this for you. Here we go. Go live. There we go. That should help. Yeah, I want to get the real video up. Let me open it up on a window over here, and I'll send it over. It's exciting because there's a lot of classic Intellivision games, and so as someone that's really into the complete history, a lot of those classic Intellivision games are all coming back, like a lot of them.
So from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't look like it's the actual original builds of them. It looks like a remaster of a lot of Intellivision games. Am I incorrect on this?
Yeah, I'm seeing a few familiar faces. I just saw a bit of Snafu, which is one I always like.
Right, here we go. Let me move this over here, and everyone will be able to see it.
I still can't see the Discord thing, but that's okay. I've had a look at the video before.
So you got Safecracker. I mean, so many of the games look like games that you would download, like for an UR system or like a tablet or something like that. Or even those tiny little games that you get on Xbox Live and whatever. But they look like really early ones. Sorry,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, Dan, is that the actual underlying hardware is just essentially running Android, and it's running an ARM. It's running a very fast ARM CPU, but it's literally the same CPU that you would get in your phone or a tablet. So, yeah, that's exactly why the games look the same, because they are.
I would be unsurprised to find somebody tear it apart and find a Raspberry Pi 2 in it or something like that.
I don't think that will happen. I pray that wouldn't happen. I've got faith in Tommy Tallarico, and he's doing. It's really hard because what he's doing. Anyone that talks bad on it, I mean, maybe this is my whole idea. He generally gets hold of them and ends up doing a video with them. He got Smash GT out, and he's going around in his Ferrari. He had he's done stuff with Rich Review Tech USA. There's so many people he's got hold of to talk about this. He's doing the right thing, but I don't know. It's not for the hardcore gamer.
So if you say it's crap, you get a ride in his Ferrari.
Yes.
Okay, shit.
It's one of those things that I think what it's all going to boil down to for me, because so for me, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it because I like the history of games, and there's a lot of like new versions of a lot of very, very classic games coming out here. But there's no denying that this is very much a tablet with a very, very unique controller. The games, I mean, I'm looking here. I mean, yeah, I've played that on my son's tablet. You know, it's essentially Trials. You know,
I mean, I don't want to. Oh, sorry. I mean, I don't want to throw shade at Tommy Tallarico. He's a brilliant composer, but I mean, Kurt Schilling was a brilliant baseball player. But at the end, and he also had tons of money, just like Tommy Tallarico. But at the end of the day, you know, we know how Green Monster Gaming and 38 Studios went.
It's a toughie. I do think it's hard because the thing is it going to fail? Because at the end of the day, they're probably not trying to make it like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One or even one of these slower consoles. You know, they're probably trying to gain get the coverage that the the Ouya actually wanted. So in that regard,
I doubt they. I mean, I can't imagine they're looking for like those like major console numbers. I mean, I can't imagine that. If they're trying to get like a foothold.
Well, no, but the thing is that there's already a market for edutainment consoles, such as the VTech V-Smile, V-Smile Motion, V-Smile Baby, and Sega Pico, and the Leapfrog. Like, Leapfrog and VTech pretty much have that entire market sewn up.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, those consoles cost like between $50 and $100. So it's like, what the hell are these people even thinking?
Yeah, I'm very concerned about that price point. That turns me off immediately.
I think it needs to be that though, by the unique controllers stuff. I'm sure it probably does need to cost that, you know.
Those controllers, by the way, they don't look comfortable.
Games like this,
the
games that I'm seeing, I don't see like what does a controller like that really add to it.
I think the thing that gets me about this is that a lot of the games that they've showcased and a lot of the games that are in the pipeline are the kind of things that you would see as a compilation on the PS4 or Xbox One. And really all that's being sold on top of this is a somewhat unique controller that's a bit nostalgic and a console which is $250. They could have stripped all of that back and just released discs upon discs of like family fun content. It would have been a hell of a lot cheaper. They wouldn't have had to develop anything. Even if this is ARM based and, you know, essentially an Android TV box, it's strange. It's quite a bold strategy, and I don't see how they can really take this further than that.
So, I know a lot of you guys have been looking into this a lot more. Tell me, am I right in saying that apparently the games are going to be exclusive for this console as well, that they're making for it?
So far, the only one that's really gained any interest outside of the Amico is Earthworm Jim, and it has been mentioned that it will be exclusive to this console. I believe they're going to try and shift it as a system seller over that.
It's a good system seller for the market they're going for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and for me, you know, that would be the reason I'd go for it. Absolutely, especially if they did a special edition console with Earthworm Jim's face on it, but I don't want to give it too many ideas.
I have a roommate whose birthday's coming up, and he loves Earthworm Jim. It's what got him into drawing and animation, and I would consider picking one of these up if it wasn't $200. That is it's
closer to 300, isn't it? Yeah, 250, 280.
Yeah. It's something that I'd consider for like $150. Or lower, but man, that is, I get that he has to, you know, charge for the cost of creating these new controllers and whatever the new system is, but even that, look at those controllers. They look like, you know, your standard MP3 players from
they look like
It doesn't look like something you want to hold in your hands. It looks like something that you are forced to hold in your hands while playing a game that's running off of a Raspberry Pi. That's kind of the console style that I've seen with a lot of like Kickstarters that are saying, "Hey, we're creating this new tablet." It's kind of like what Ouya did, except for Ouya had I can't remember what they did for controllers. I can't remember if they like forced you to use your phone or something else along those lines. But it's got that very cheap, find it somewhere, find it in the discount bin at Goodwill kind of look to it.
I don't know.
I like the look of the games.
That might be, yeah. I mean, probably a bit looks a bit better than that, but yeah, not $250.
See, the thing is, like, I'm getting the vibe of, like, when Sega went down that route of doing the Sega Ages series, as in not like the new ones, I'm on about the ones from the PlayStation 2 era where they were making, like, sort of newer versions of Space Harrier. There were, like, 70% bad, but you got a couple of good ones in there. And I feel like this is Tommy Tallarico's gone along, he's bought the Intellivision, and I feel like what he's trying to do is he's trying to make newer versions of those classic games, which is such an incredible thing for him just to suddenly fork up the money to do. It's a brilliant idea.
But also, those Sega Ages games were budget titles.
Yes, and that's the thing. I mean, we're in a day and age where Streets of Rage 4 is going to be a budget game when, 20 years ago that would have been a full price game. It's just the world we live in now. And then the thing is, like, you can go and buy Streets of Rage 4 for 25 quid. You don't have to spend close to $300 to buy a console to buy these indie games. It's a very, very strange thing. And actually, Goldfish on Games in the chat right here, he says it would be like you bought an Xbox 360 only for the Xbox indie games, which is actually funny to think about. But at the same time, I did buy an Xbox 360 after I played what was it? What was the shooting game that was on Geometry Wars. See, I played, the Gotham Racing or whatever it was called, Metropolis Racing, whatever that one is. It didn't really interest me too much, and then I finally played Geometry Wars, and I did buy it for that game. So, 100%, the Intellivision Amico, I am the person for it. But I'm niche.
I was just thinking about when I saw the Goldfish on Games comments. Has they said anything about how open the platform's going to be for developers?
Maybe. I generally don't know.
Is it going to be closed off to just specific people who need a license with, or is it going to be as open as like Android or Steam? Or
I mean,
I don't know.
Tommy Tallarico, he's a guy everyone loves. I think a lot of people will want to work with him. It's just the thing is with indie developers, they want to get their games in front of as many people as possible for the obvious reason. They want to get their game out there. I don't know if this is the route they would ever go down, because you're going to have to make it unique to it. You got that controller.
Yeah.
Goldfish raises a great point. I mean, he's not talking about the Xbox Live Arcade. He's talking about the home indie or the
indie game service. Yeah, I did a video on that.
So one of the things that really gets me, he's absolutely right about the analogy of buying an Xbox 360 just for that system. But let me make it more restricted for you, and this probably sounds a bit closer to the Amico. It's exactly like that indie game setup, only all of the indie games are curated and you are prescribed exactly what you have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very similar to Nintendo's age-old approach of, we need to vet every bit of content. Mortal Kombat can't have blood. It needs to be censored to a degree. And there's a reason why gaming moved away from that, right? I mean, look at why the Mega Drive gained so much market share in such a short amount of time. The only game console to do that. It's because we moved away from that. People didn't want that.
Just to devil's advocate a bit for a second.
Sure.
Do you reckon does anyone reckon there might be a bit of, because I mean, a lot of platforms are so open nowadays, but some people might consider that to be like to a fault. Like you look at Steam, look at like how many games are released on Steam nowadays. It's hard for actual good ones to even get noticed. And same with PS4 and that.
Yeah, I mean,
having that more curated market might be a bit of a selling point.
It could well be, but there is also the potential for shovelware. A lot of shovelware. I mean, if we look at the Wii, I mean, you still had to pay licensing fees to a degree, and Nintendo was still curating to a degree. So at that point, it just means that as long as the game runs, as long as it, you can argue that it's got $3 worth of value in the game. Bear in mind that's the cheapest price point for any of the games on there. You're really running the gamut of what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean, I don't know. in the way my mind works, where I have to have several games to actually make a system worthwhile, exclusive games for that system, it's going to be worthwhile for me. But sadly, those games aren't going to be anything more than like, just indie games. I know I'm going around in circles saying this, but
Are they games that you look like you would play them for an extended amount of time?
no, I mean I'm looking at a game here where you throw I don't even know what sand balls into a hole. And it's strange. It's strange. But the fact is, he's bought all of those names, hasn't he? You know, he's bought all of those classic Intellivision games names. So this is going to be the way you want to buy and play any kind of sequel, as good or bad as they are. It's a strange one.
To snafu.
Ian, the controller looks like an iPod Shuffle. It does. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Of course, the important question is: are we going to have an updated version of "How could you put me in this position? I really miss my."
I mean, like, it depends on how you market this kind of thing, right? You're talking about a retro name that has not been in relevance for a long, long time. It's going to sell to grandparents who are looking to put something in their put something in their like spare bedroom for the kids to play when they're over. That's the way I can see this being marketed.
Yeah.
But then again, I am seeing some things here that I might actually enjoy. I saw a Bomberman type game. There's
Yeah, the games do mostly look appealing.
I mean,
in a casual way.
It's definitely.
I like the Pond Wakeout hybrid looking game.
Yeah, I saw that.
A lot of it does look like the spare games you get on a Blaze Mega Drive, though.
They're definitely better quality. They're definitely better quality. Without a doubt. We're going around in circles here, but at the same time, this is. So I'm going to buy it. Is it going to fail? What are they aiming for? You know, they're definitely not aiming for the PlayStation 4 market, are they? If they're only aiming to get this in the hands of the amount that they sell, then no, it's not going to be a failure. I think the real testing factor is in how long they're going to be supporting it. If he sticks to his guns and makes these exclusive forever, this is going to be an incredibly interesting console. Like, imagine this: the only way you can play Earthworm Jim is by buying this console, and if and when it fails, they stop making games. The only way you're going to be able to play it is by getting someone's Amico that actually has it downloaded onto it.
Yeah, that's
the other point.
That's a big point. I mean, you're talking about
not lost forever per se, but not really accessible to the regular.
Yeah, I mean, we can all play. There he is, old Tommy Tallarico right there. Look, he's actually going to show here Missile Command and how it works with the controllers. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit.
Is a very unique experience. So, for example, we're going to be playing.
I want to like it. That's my problem.
Yeah, I do. I am definitely getting one.
But all the reticles are going to be different shapes.
But I bought an Xbox One X the other day, and I've always said I hate the Xbox One, so I'm that guy.
I almost say this has been a cool, cheap version to the Switch. Unfortunately, it costs about the same as the Switch.
I really want to like it, but it just seems like it's going to come off as another also ran.
You have missiles that come from the left side.
I think, comparing it to things like the Ouya or I don't know, the Game Stick or something like that is probably a little bit unfair, because already they've got a long list of sequels or remakes to classic games. So already it's got, one up on that.
I think their best chances are if they've got, which hopefully, I don't know if they do, if they've got enough in it for like the long haul. Your TV Unplugged, that's a very good point. As long as it doesn't totally flop, then I guess you're right, it will still be a success. The level of success that is acceptable and can continue.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they've got enough cash to know that as long as they get decent sales, they can still and perhaps, iterate on it. If they're all in on this first one, then I don't see a bright future.
There's only so much that nostalgia can do. At the end of the day, once they've sold these consoles, if people stop buying them, which I'm sure, that's going to go down a little bit after it buys, and to eventually almost, not no one will buy them, but that will dwindle right down. The success of the console is going to be based on the amount of people that are buying these incredibly these have to be cheap games. I mean, £5 and less, some of these games, without a shadow of a doubt. If they're any more than that, people aren't going to buy them. And then if they aren't as good as a £5 or £10 game you can buy on a PlayStation 4, which would be cheaper than this, then
And you can
how
buy
long is it going to
some
last?
games that are quite similar.
Yeah.
I think what they like the making Earthworm Jim an exclusive is a good way to go if they can get their hands on more games that would be exclusives that would help sell the console. But they can't do the Stadia thing where they say, "Hey, take a look at this neat game that we put together, like Guilt," and they say, "This is our exclusive," and then they don't add anything else. They're just they have one thing. And people will say, well, I'm not going to buy a console for exactly one game. So they need to have a couple of extra games that are going to help sell. I don't know if we're talking about creating more Earthworm Jim games, if that's all he has access to, or if there are other games that he could arguably put onto the system that could really help sell it.
How
It's
far are we
just
away from release?
It comes out on the 10th of October. If
Okay, so there's so potentially there's still time if they have more stuff in the pipeline.
well,
there's-
yeah, June presumably they would have had some sort of showcase for E3,
Yeah.
so
Aye.
you'd hope so.
It,
So, yeah,
it almost
um,
feels like a Kickstarter
imagine
that
if
wasn't
there was-
kickstarted.
Yeah, it's odd. You can tell it's a product made out of passion by its creators, and that should always be respected.
Yes, I agree with that totally.
Whether
It's
they've
not.
made
I don't
the
think
right,
it's a cynical cash grabber.
No,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. I don't think Tommy Tallarico needs this. He wants to do this.
we've got AKA Timo84 states in the chat that he's bought the Founders Edition, which was the version that went up for pre-order before and sold through the initial allocation.
Are you like me, Akatimo? Did you want to actually? What made you want to buy this? I'm interested to hear. I'm looking at this game right here, this one they've got on here, and I can see how it works by using the controllers. So literally, your thumb on the screen is moving where the cursor goes,
Right.
which is a nice way to play it. You're going to have to buy extra
Right.
controllers, by the way. If the controllers are the reason it's so expensive, they're not going to be cheap to buy 3 or 4 controllers. You know. It takes up to 8. It takes up to 8 controllers, but you've got to find other people that also have this, and you're going to be in a. I don't know how many people will also buy this. You're going to be the only person around that has this console, I think.
Is there no online play or anything then?
They're very heavily focused on couch co-op. You know, keeping it retro. I mean, maybe there'll be some online, but I mean, because you have to go online to buy the games. Yeah, I'm. Don't be wrong. I think the white and the black look better because that one's a little bit more expensive. It makes me want to go for that one.
By the way, I hate to drop out a little early, but I'm getting a bit of a headache, so I think I should probably pop off.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for joining in, mate.
But cheers, it's been fun.
Yeah,
See you,
cheers.
bye.
No worries. Thanks, buddy.
Take care.
Get better. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what else there is to really talk about. You know, if you want to get that exclusive lenticular car signed by Tommy Tallarico, like, oh my god, it's just so weird.
I really prefer the black and white ones. I don't get this whole. Oh yeah, let's bring back wood grain thing.
No, I don't.
Oh,
Was the
I'm
Intellivision
sorry, I'm a
originally
sucker
wood
for
grain?
wood grain.
Was
Was the Intellivision wood grain? Yeah,
Yeah.
it had wood grain on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm a sucker for wood grain. Yeah.
I probably would get it for that.
So
I don't know.
Akatimo says, I wanted it because I was curious, but also really like the message behind the product. And that's something I really like. I like the message. It's a great idea to bring in like a family-only console, and that's something that's always typically underserved by the majority of the AAA market. There's very few kid-friendly games these days. So yeah, absolutely, and I like the idea of getting people together just to play something random, something potentially throwaway and disposable, like the Missile Command multiplayer. It's not something I'd sit down and play for hours on end, but something I might pull out for a party just because it's a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
So I can see that. It's just whether it's worth $250. That's what I struggle with.
Yeah. So your TV Unplugged, this is not an Atari box / new VCS lol. At least not how it comes from a place of heart, rather than where the Atari box came from. Yeah, people are comparing this to the Ouya and I suppose Atari box and stuff like that. It's not one of those things. I mean, time will tell if it actually gets released on time, which I really do hope it does, and I've got faith in Tommy to get that sorted and his team. Like you say, I think we're going around over and over. It's all down to 250 quid for this console, which is going to be filled up with only games plus one or two, Earthworm Jim being one of them, hopefully. Only games that are the same amount of price. They better be the same price as they are on a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or Switch or something like that, and it's going to be only those games. But because they're sequels to classic Intellivision games, they've got that slight edge. But again, 250 quid plus postage, probably 300 quid.
It definitely needs a couple more big guns. I think in a couple of months, if we get to like July time, presuming that they're going to be still on for October, because of course the way things been, other things might get in the way. I mean, we might have delays for the bigger consoles this year.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But they need some more games. If we're 3 months further down the road and we still have Earthworm Jim and we're only a couple months away from release, and that's it, I'm worried.
You know, I can totally see something happening though, and that's the Sega Forever app collection making its way onto this thing. They absolutely love a new product launch, and if it's Android based, then that's a shoo-in. So I reckon we're going to see some more stuff. I reckon we'll see some Android games being ported over because it'd be cheap and easy to do so, and that's great. But yeah, as you say, they need exclusives really.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the price point on a Switch nowadays?
That's the thing. This is more expensive than the console we're leaving. The console generation that we're leaving. So if I want to go and buy a Nintendo Switch, this is $250, by the way. This is, isn't it? It's not £250. Yeah, okay. So Nintendo Switch. Let's just go to Amazon.
Well, £250.
I'm seeing 300, pretty average.
You can get a Switch Lite for 200. And that's brand new.
Let's make the assumption that you want to buy a regular Switch because the point of this console is to play with your friends, to play with your family. So let's assume that you want a Switch that you can play with people on a TV with. You're looking at maybe around $300. The $25 upsell to play officially licensed like Nintendo games, which I'm not saying that that the games that are being produced are not of good quality. I'm just saying Nintendo tends to have a lot of more oomph in a single cartridge you buy from them than say a remake of an arcade classic that probably doesn't have nearly the same amount of content, and you have a massive library to pick from instead of whatever the small library you have with this console is. I think that for people that are trying to decide on what they want to buy, if they don't have a Switch and they want something to just be able to pick up with friends, they pick up a Switch in Mario Party instead of coming in and picking up this thing.
And
why am I finding it so hard to buy a Nintendo Switch right now? I'm at Games website. But tell me how much a Nintendo Switch is. Are they all sold out everywhere at the moment?
They are.
Yes, they are absolutely sold out.
Existential reasons.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's about 300 quid anyway, isn't it? 299 for a Switch. Everyone's saying 299. So yeah, it's essentially the same price as a Nintendo Switch and more expensive than a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One regular edition. Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, the name recognition, I mean, it's another kind of obvious thing, but I mean, you've got someone like, why am I going to pick Nintendo Intellivision? Which name are they likely to recognize? That's another challenge that the Amico obviously faces.
Yeah, it is absolutely. But again, if they sell out all of their systems, and those people that actually buy those systems are genuinely buying games, then no, it's not a failure.
Right. So what would you consider a metric of success for this? Like, what's the thing you want to see? Do you want to see them create a 2.0 that comes out and sells, or do you want to see them continue making this thing for a certain amount of time? What would you consider this thing succeeding? Because I think that with the pre-orders, it may have just overtaken its the amount of cost it takes to produce it, which would make it a success in the sense of I've not lost money on this venture and it exists in the world. But I mean, what is?
I think a success is
Oh.
a minimum of 2 years, absolute bare bone minimum of 2 years of consistent, constant content, and I want to see at least 5 Earthworm Gyms, not Earthworm Gym, 5 Earthworm Gym games, but I want to see 5 games of that caliber.
Yeah.
I'd say success, around about that, and just enough to allow them to continue to iterate on it. To
Honestly,
have, like,
if you
a good
had-
base of the
if
from
you
the
had
first for the second.
5 games of Earthworm Jim caliber at launch, that's a success right there. That is worth the $300 to me. I would pick up that system. That has that much value to me to pick up.
My guess is the fact that actually the reason why this isn't out now is because of the games. You know, them prepping the games for its release.
I
That's
think
my
the big
guess.
barrier that they're going to face is that they're selling to a retro market and they're selling an all digital solution for it.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That's weird. I understand why they have to do it, but it's a strange one. It's definitely
So,
strange.
A measurement
Which I think is kind of my thing about getting that successful at 2.0. I mean, Team 84 said, I don't think I would buy 2.0. And yeah, I don't think it's a case where like the 2.0 has to be essential, but if it's a case like the 1.0 generates a lot of hype, and then it's like, oh, well, we've got a second iteration coming, then, you know, you get more and more people, you gradually get the bigger and bigger base.
Yeah, there we go.
I think a
They
measurement.
don't necessarily have to upgrade, but gets new people.
I think a measurement of success for me would be a consistent digital content drop, like Slope say. People are going to want to know that their money isn't going to disappear, i.e., the service gets shut down due to a poor launch. And I think that's a worry that a lot of people like myself share when it comes to the sideline consoles like this. I mean, this is essentially 3DO category next to the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendos.
Yeah.
So
You're not wrong.
yeah, it's just making sure that there is consistency, the message is getting out there. The marketing definitely needs to be a hell of a lot better than it is right now, because, you know, I think we both all had to remind ourselves that this thing existed a couple of days ago before this chat came to be.
I had never heard of it beforehand, and I mean, I have a roommate who lives and breathes Earthworm Jim, so the fact that he didn't let me know about it or hasn't heard of it tells me that it's not that big of a thing so far.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's like on the lead up to its launch. Right now, I think Tommy Tallarico is, you know, sowing the seeds with, you know, all of these content creators, which it's so insane. Like, Richard Review Tech USA should be crapping all over this. He absolutely should, just by what it is, you know. But it's Tommy Tallarico who's bought the Intellivision name, you know, and
he's certainly got a good gift of. I mean, well, he's got a good personality. I mean, everyone's generally always appreciated him. He's like, he's quite a nice fellow.
yeah.
And he's certainly taken, you know, steps to like really bring guys on board, obviously, and he's kind of gradually going up. Like we've had Smash JT, but I think he started crapping on it, did he?
Slightly, you know,
And then-
he had his concerns, and then
Yeah.
Tommy
Yeah, it's-
Tallarico, you know, you got the whole like, it took him in his Ferrari, but you know, all that
And
sort of stuff.
Review and did Review Tech USA start out critical, or was he kind
I'm
of
not sure. I'm not
straight
sure
in?
how he started it off, but
I mean, I've seen. I think. Well, the CU podcast crapped on it a couple
oh,
of
they
days
hate
ago.
it. Yeah, they hate it.
Yeah. So, don't know if anything will end up happening there. We'll see, I suppose. If Tommy
No, it's
tries
download,
get in
but
touch
it's
with
not
those
streaming,
guys.
right?
Say that again.
It's download, but not streaming.
It's download. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
as far as I'm aware, it's download. Yeah, I'll be. Yeah.
And do you have to buy the games separate from the console?
At the moment, who knows? Yeah, I'm guessing you do. Is it going to be a subscription-based model? I hope not, because what's
That's
gonna
an
happen
easy
when
way
that
to
ends?
turn retro gamers off of it.
Yeah, for a lot of people that'd be a deal breaker.
That's
Hey,
how
you
big
guys
that
like to
games
collect
will
things so
sell
that you
into
can continue to
online,
play
yeah.
them.
It's
Sorry.
strange. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going around in circles here. I don't really know what else we can really add to
We've
this.
said that 10 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this because I am the target market. For me, it's all about will it stay in the limelight for 2 years after its launch at least, and have several really worthwhile games. We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited for it. This is something so out of left field. And I think you nailed it there as well, Grizzly. This is the 3DO of the when Mega Drive was all out. This is very similar to that. So it comes with 6 games, says Akatimo. I'll be interested to know what those games are. Do you know the games? I like weird novelty things. I do as well, Akatimo. I am 100%. This is so for me. It couldn't majorly. Goldfish and Games says, has anyone seen anything of the new Earthworm Jim game? My guess, Goldfish, is it's so early in development that there's a big fat no on that. Ubisoft normally jump on every new platform, yeah, but even them, I don't think they'll jump on this. I really don't. I think this is going to be 99%, even maybe 100%, all in-house developed games. For this system, it's so unique, and unless it just blows up, which I don't see it happening, unless it blows up to the standards of the Wii and everything else, then yeah, other companies will jump on then.
Strange times we live in.
It's a very, very strange one, and I'm very excited for it. So, unless anyone else has anything to add, I don't really think there's much else to say.
Yes,
Well,
Tommy Rico, if you do happen across this video, when are we going to get pre-orders in the UK? Because that's definitely when my mind will change.
Can you come and give us a ride in your Ferrari?
Please.
So just can you not buy this in the UK?
Not currently. It's only US pre-order. They haven't mentioned anything about a worldwide release.
Oh my
I can't
God.
see the reason why not. It should just be a USB plug-in. I haven't seen anything else that suggests otherwise.
This is so like a Kickstarter. The way it goes about, it's unreal without it being an actual Kickstarter. He's doing it all off his own back. This is crazy. Anyway, yeah, I think we'll end it there. That's really put me off now. I'm annoyed. I didn't know about that. Right, well, yeah, we'll end it there then. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining in. Like I say, we've got Grizzly in the chat. Mogminer has left, sadly. Kim, the awesome Kim Justice, who makes some insanely good retro gaming historical videos like myself, and wrestling content as well. A lot of that classic retro wrestling videos. Is that a good way to?
Yes, I do Japanese wrestling videos on my Patreon, so please check out and support my Patreon. Don't get interested.
There you go. And then we've also got Mark D, who's been in here a few times as well in the past. And yeah, I appreciate you always joining in here, buddy.
Yep, always fun.
Excellent. Right, well, thanks everyone, and yeah, we'll end it there. Cheers, guys.